Hi there, it is Pat. I actually tried to do this using Zoom and going live on Facebook, and I have no idea what happened, but my voice didn't work, so I deleted that, and here you go. I'm going to get a new one out. So again, I'm Pat Sheveland, and my role in life is to heal family grief. And I have just written a new book, so I thought today I would read you the first chapter of my book. Now, if you are a daughter or son taking care of an elderly parent, this book is for you. If you have children, adult children, and you have an elderly parent, or you have grandchildren, you end up in this multi-generational model, right? We're kind of taking care of everybody. Maybe you're retired, maybe you're still working. Gets a bit overwhelming and we feel a little bit stretched between all of our responsibilities. So I wrote this book for you. So let me read the first chapter. I hope you enjoy it. Living Life in the Middle, the Caregiver's Guide to Healing, Hope, and Harmony through Multigenerational Living by Patricia Sheveland. Chapter 1, Between the Bookends. In dwelling, live close to the ground. In thinking, keep to the simple. In conflict, be fair and generous. In governing, don't try to control. In work, do what you enjoy. In family life, be completely present. Lao Tzu. You are wondering, how did I end up here? If you are like me, in your mind, you still feel like you are so much younger than you are. In my mind, I still think like I'm in my early 20s till I look in the mirror and see a 62-year-old woman looking back at me. The decades between my 20s and 60s went by in a flash. As a teenager and young adult, my dream life was to have 10 acres, a trailer house, and a horse. I wasn't going to get married or have children because that didn't work out so well for my parents. And I really had no desire to follow in those footsteps. So I thought I would do better living out in the country by myself, riding my horse, and being free. My life took a drastically different path in many ways, but that dream of having a simple life with so much freedom still sits in my heart. What kind of life did you imagine ahead of you when you were young? Maybe you knew that you would get married and have children. Perhaps you're someone who knew you would go to college, and even back then you had a clear vision of what career would fill you with passion. Or did you dream of throwing a few things in a backpack and taking off to explore the world? Whatever your dream was, I imagine that it didn't play out exactly as you envisioned it all those years ago. Most of us were taught that we needed to finish high school, maybe go on to college, and then go to work because that is how life was. Work hard, maybe raise a family, work harder, parents age, and then work even harder to balance all the responsibilities in life. Now, as you look back and see all of the experiences that you encountered along these decades from being a young adult to middle aged, you are not sure how to define what stage you are in because it seems like this middle age is a lot longer than any of us really expected it to be. Research from John Sheveland, an economics professor at Stanford University, shows that what was considered old and very old in the 1920s is now what we consider middle age. Back in the 1920s, we'd be considered old once we moved past the age of 40. Whereas in today's world, statistically, we are not in the old category until after the age of 65. And the very old definition is for those who are in their 80s. Life is very different than when our parents and grandparents were our age. You probably have a parent or both who are still living. Pharmaceuticals, advances in medicine, and decreased physical demands on their bodies have our parents living much longer on average than their parents. Their jobs were gentler and more forgiving than the heavy labor of generations prior. Our parents' bodies are alive, hearts still pumping, limbs still moving, albeit much more slowly, and their lungs are still taking in air. But even with all of that, their bodies and minds are slowly deteriorating to the point that our parents cannot safely remain living alone independently anymore. You probably have become your parents' caregiver in many ways, and now the roles in your family dynamics have reversed. Your parent has become more childlike and more dependent, and you are the one she has become dependent on. You have chosen to take on much, if not all, of her care. You knew that if your mom had to go into a care facility, it would be devastating for both of you. You made a commitment to yourself and to your parents years ago that you would always be there for them, making sure they could stay at home if at all possible. You're going to take care of your mom because it is the right and honorable thing to do as her child. Back when my mother was a child, it was not uncommon for grandmother to live with them. Multi-gener- Multi-generational living was the norm when an elderly parent or grandparent could no longer live independently. It was a given that you would take care of your aging parents in the home. Then the concept of nursing homes came to fruition and they popped up in every city. Our parents had to work, so caring for their parents was not easily done. Either their parents lived independently until they died, were taken care of by an unmarried child, or they moved into a nursing home to live out their final years. But something shifted in our generation. Many of us are not comfortable with the thought of moving our parents into institutionalized living. And we are moving back into the concept of multi generational living as a means to provide physical and emotional support for our parents. You probably have children who need you too. Perhaps they are now grown adults with children of their own. Or maybe you had kids later in life who are still in elementary or high school. Maybe your child has a young family of her own and is struggling financially or emotionally. Your child may be a single parent in need of your support. You cannot sit by and watch your daughter sink or swim because you know how hard and costly it is to raise children. You fear that your grandchildren could be negatively affected if you don't help them out. So here we are with the lines of independence and interdependence becoming blurred, and we are juggling elder care of our parents with supporting our children, all while still needing to work so we can financially support our families. If you are like me, you are too young and not financially prepared to fully retire yet. And now you have all of these people, your family, who need your help. You are bookended between your parent, your children, or your children's children. This is what is referred to as the sandwich generation. You are the main staple between the two slices of bread, which consists of your parent and your kids. You spent all of your adult life taking care of everyone, being the breadwinner, ensuring your kids were and still are taken care of emotionally, physically, and intellectually. You took care of your ill family members, and if they were dying, you made sure they did so surrounded in love and peace. And then you were the one to make sure all of the arrangements were taken care of, just the way your deceased loved one would have liked it. You pay the bills and you worry about the bills. In fact, no matter how much money you make, there never seems to be enough to make you feel financially secure. Money has never been a motivator for you, but the closer you get to retirement, the more you worry about whether you will be able to afford the life you want to live when you finally stop working. You are strong and determined in many areas of your life, but your physical health is a roller coaster. You get healthy through eating well and being active, and then you cycle into bad habits and feel like the proverbial hamster on a wheel. You are a leader in your work, but again, you worry about everyone and everything. Work really isn't as fun and engaging as it used to be. In fact, you find yourself struggling to get out of bed, get dressed, and put on that happy face before heading into the office. You dread Sunday evenings because you're stressed out from not getting as much done on the weekend as you would have liked to. There just isn't enough time to do all the things you need to do and all the things you would like to do. Your life has been devoted to being in control and taking care of others. You haven't really focused on what you want in the past, but now that's all you can think about. Again, if you are like me, you get frustrated more often than not by having all of these responsibilities. You worked so damn hard all of these years, and all you want is to be able to relax a bit more, have more flexibility in your life, and have the financial freedom to do the things you want to do. Maybe you want to travel more and see the world. Or maybe it is as simple as being able to wake up without an alarm and be able to move throughout your day, choosing what things you want to do and not having to be on a schedule all of the time. To be able to live with a sense of freedom from all the demands on your time and resources. Even further, do you find yourself jealous of your friends who seem to have it all? Without having to take care of their aging parent, your friends appear to have all of the flexibility and the money to be able to do whatever they want. They seem so happy and free as they post the pictures on Facebook and Instagram of all the places they go and the fun they have. Your friends look like they are living life free and easy because they are not tied down with all of the responsibilities that come with being a family caregiver. And to be totally honest, you feel resentful at times. You resent having to be the responsible one all of the time. Resent that you have to still be working so hard to bring home a paycheck when you have already been working so hard for decades. You sometimes even resent having to take care of your parent because no one else in your family can or will. Even though you put on a happy and caring face for everyone to see, you have times when you do feel resentful, and then you feel ashamed for feeling that way. You're not just dealing with the frustration and resentment of being the superwoman in your family. You now have placed a cape of guilt across your shoulders. Instead of flying easily through life as a superwoman with a cape should be able to do, you are struggling to get off your feet off the ground to just take one step in front of another. You want to continue to serve others, including your family, but you do not want everyone totally dependent on you anymore. I get it. I really do. I have been in your shoes more often than not. I have had the weight of responsibility crush my spirit, and I felt all the feelings that go with being stuck in the middle between the old and the young. I live in a multi-generational home that spans 4 generations. I am the daughter, the wife, the mother, the grandmother, and the nurse in this complicated, exhausting life. Yes, I know the frustrations and the guilt, the resentments and the grief, but I also know the beauty, the grace, the healing, and the true joy that comes from this heart expanding, multi generational family life experience. I know that you don't have to go to work in a job that you're not happy in just to make a paycheck, because I know that you can make a living doing the work that puts a skip in your step and brings you energy and joy. I know without a doubt that you can have healing, hope, and harmony in your life. I know that you can be the author of your life and you will no longer feel stuck in the middle. Instead, feeling deep gratitude and being placed between the two bookends of the elderly and the young in your family story. I know you want to live this life of passion and joy. How do I know this? Because you opened up this book and you're looking at it right now. I believe in you, and my deepest desire is that you will also start believing in yourself. I hope that you are ready to step forward into this life that brings you the freedom to live your dream while still being a support to your family, doing work that not only provides for you financially, but also makes your heart sing. I wrote this book for you. Within these pages, you will journey through the lessons to help you transition from a life of feeling overwhelmed and stressed to a life of healing, hope, and harmony for both you and your family. I will help you lift the heavy cloak of responsibility from your shoulders and replace it with a beautiful, soft wrap of peace, joy, and love. Thank you for listening to chapter 1 of my newest book that will soon be out as an ebook on Amazon. And then we will get it into the paperback version. But I just wanted to let you know that if any of this sounds like you or someone that you know, maybe a family member, a friend, a colleague, an employee, share this with them. And I am open to talking with you and chatting about what it is that maybe you can do to help find healing, hope, and harmony in your life. And I will be so happy to send you a free ebook version of this if you want to reach out to me. You can reach me at www.healingfamilygrief.com. Thank you and have a beautiful, beautiful day.